Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
Oppenheimer initiating coverage on IBM with an outperform rating, expecting double-digit revenue growth in its software portfolio. That stock is up about 0.25%. Let's stick with IBM. Let's head to the World Government Summit in Dubai, where Bloomberg's Joumanna Bercetche is with a special guest. Joumanna, over to you.
Guys, thanks for that. Yes, so joining me right now is the IBM CEO, Arvind Krishna. Great to have you with us here at the World Government Summit in the UAE, of all places. Look, I just want to start off with a question that I think is dominating the discussions these days, and that is vis-a-vis artificial intelligence. You can't be a US tech company these days if you're not seen to have a growing presence in AI. How does innovation keep up with demand for a company like yours?
Look, I mean, innovation is our lifeblood. Let me start there. And I do think that AI is a transformative technology. So no company can be in tech without having to play a role in AI. If I look at the role that we want to play, we are focused on the B2B market. So we do not want to do B2C. So B2B means you've got to take advantage of an enterprise's private data. Here's a shocking statistic. Only 1% of enterprise data has found its way into any form of AI model so far. So that is the unlock that we want to do. And as we bring that private data into models, whether it's used to refine models or to construct unique use cases, it unlocks a huge amount of value for the enterprise.
Yeah, how has the arrival of DeepSeek disrupted the landscape for generative AI? Because it's a model that was produced with a much lower cost, but also equal utility as some of the larger language models. Is this a major game changer, do you think?
Actually, you see me smile because I think it's our validation. We've been on this point for a long time that you do not have to spend so much money to get these models. If you're willing to make fit-for-purpose models, we do believe that the cost should be in the millions and not in the hundreds of millions. And so how do you begin to distill models down to smaller sizes, get them unique for a purpose, and then run them at 2 to 3%? So 30 times cheaper than the big models, but as accurate and as good for a domain-specific task.
Do you think that therefore there could be a day of reckoning for some of these big tech companies spending billions and tens of billions, even $100 billion on CapEx spending plans these years?
That's probably beyond my ability to compute. Is it a day of reckoning? But I can tell you that we are going to find that the usage is going to explode as the cost comes down. So maybe there's enough quantity increase that all of it maps out in the right way.
Yeah, you've always been a big supporter of open source models. And I just wonder in the case of DeepSeek, whether that actually served as a reason for the disruption to take place. Would we not have seen a DeepSeek come to the market had there not been open source models?
No, I don't believe so, because there are enough large models that people are building, not in the hundreds, but definitely in the tens. And it's hard to imagine that there's an ecosystem which doesn't have a large model to start from. Look, ideas tend to spread. This has been true for 2,000 years. People have written about this. Once there's an idea, it gets penned down, the idea spreads. Once an idea spreads, smart people everywhere can copy it.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question about regulation. I started off the interview asking you whether innovation can keep up with demand. Do you think regulation is actually keeping up with the innovation that we're seeing in artificial intelligence?
I'll actually go the other way around. Too much regulation early stifles innovation and then doesn't allow those companies and those nations where the regulation is heavy to succeed. We can always look at the example. I think that the EU is very good at lots of things, but sometimes the over-regulation is an inhibitor on innovation. And I think we should balance that. I think that balance is incredibly critical. And I talk about precision regulation as opposed to sort of blunt force regulation.
Yeah.
So be precise and take a risk-based approach where only the most risky activities are regulated. So in AI, that becomes the use cases. So yeah, be more careful around life or death activities, but allow innovation in customer service, in productivity for your programmers, in terms of what we're going to do around improving the customer experience, but maybe be more careful in life or death activities.
Yeah. Let me just ask you another question, which is also very important in the context of tech innovation, and that is the rise of quantum computing. I thought it was really interesting that in your Investor Day just a week ago, you said, well, you updated the quantum computing roadmap, and you said that your aim at demonstrating the first quantum computer by 2028, that's only 3 years away. People are a bit skeptical that that can be achieved in that timeline.
Fault tolerant with error correction quantum computer in 28.
Yeah.
We actually have 13 quantum computers on the cloud today. Actual quantum computers, over 100 qubits, so not toys, really serious quantum computers. But we believe we're going to be on the roadmap to do that by 2028, and that is a commitment that we did make. But I also believe that quantum computers are going to unlock a lot of value. We think about $500 billion worth of value for our customers by the end of this decade. That's exciting. Materials, climate change, carbon sequestration, better fertilizers, better batteries. Exciting areas.
Yeah, do you feel that because the world is so focused on one thing at a time, and this time, it's generative AI, we're perhaps not focusing enough on how quantum computing is actually going to disrupt our day-to-day lives? What are we actually looking at in a few years' time?
We can do our work, and when we get there, it'll be a moment, and that moment is going to be important. Our customers are pretty focused on it. We have 280 people, different companies and organizations who work with us on algorithms. The state of Chicago, Illinois in the United States just announced the National Quantum Algorithmic Center, where multiple universities, startups, large companies, national labs all play a role. They'll be running on our quantum computer. They'll probably get others as well if they exist, and do that. I think that's the excitement that is there. But the fact that 280 institutions all around the world are busy learning how to use them tells me they'll be ready.
Yeah. Well, we're here in the UAE, and I know that you were in Saudi Arabia recently as well. What opportunities are you seeing in this part of the world for AI growth and growth in your business?
We are very bullish about our business in both these nations, both in Saudi Arabia and in the UAE. I think the appetite for digital innovation, both for government services and for the private sector, is incredible. I think both nations have woken up that tech can be a big part of their economy. If you look globally, it's 4 to 5%. I think both these nations want it to be 10%, and they're investing appropriately. And you can look at the services that are there in both countries that are enabled by technology. Their appetite for AI is massive. You look at the investment that is done in the UAE around MBZ UAI, around some of the Falcon models. You look ditto in Saudi Arabia, and you have the universities, and you have the Alarm model. I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of you in the region then. Arvind Krishna, really good to chat to you.